Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Nick Pocket. I'm a sneakerhead or a sneaker addict, and this is another episode of Soul Session. Okay, so I was born in '82 in Montreal, and I think I was like a sneakerhead since I was 5. I have a little picture here. I don't know if you can do a little close up. This is all started with those shoes. Those shoes, like, if you can see the sole of like Milton Milt colorway, like Crayola style. And this is all started with this pair because I remember when I was a kid on my gym class, I was like standing in my gym listening to the teacher and always looking at my sneakers. And I was like, oh man, my sneakers are dope because nobody have those sneakers and all those crazy colorways, like they stick in my mind. And the year after, of course, I grew up. I learned the brand. My school, of course, everyone has like crazy shoes that nobody have. So I was like the kid who wanted to make part of this universe by adding some cool stuff from the States, or I don't know, plays like more underground stuff. So I have like crazy Nike and Reebok that nobody had. And I was like, okay, that's like my style. I'm gonna wear something that nobody have. But this was like before I knew like the game of sneakers. It was just like my style. And because I was a kid and I like crazy colorways in the 90s, all the Nikes have like infrared and neon green and yellow and crazy stuff. So I was like perfect in that timing. So I started a little bit with those crazy, but of course my mom had not a lot of money, so I couldn't have like the highest. But right now with eBay and all those sites, I grabbed all the pieces that I knew like back in the days. Was like the shoes that I wanted. So right now I have all the crazy collection. So like back in the days, I had like a lot of Reebok on, but because they were cheaper and my parents don't have a lot of money to buy like the highest Nike Air, but this shoes was like the grail from my childhood. This was the shoes that Agassi was wearing, the AirTech Challenge 3, I think, from 90. So this is the OG model, piece of collection for me. A little story from this shoes. When I was kid, I was going out from I think it was Bois Boulogne pool or gymnasium, and I saw this pair of shoes near like a garbage can or a took them in my hand, and I was like, oh man, those shoes are so beautiful, but they are like all trash. And my mom said, no, 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 you're gonna not bring back those home. Huh? Those shoes came from eBay like 5 or 10 years ago. And I don't have the OG box, but this is like I told you, great memories. Another non-affordable shoes was all the Jordan from my time. And this is the first Jordan that I remember, the Bordeaux with the little touch of green. And if you can see the difference between the retro one and the OG one, this is like the little details that make all the shoes for me. And another story was like back in the days, I didn't play basketball, but a couple of my friends played, and they all have like the Jordan, like you know, the original colorways, red, black, and white. And one time, one of my classmate had those in his foot, and was like, "What the hell is this shoes?" And he told me, "Yeah, it's Jordan, blah blah blah." And I was like, "That's impossible. Why the colorway is like this?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's like limited edition or all-star game. So I was like, okay, cool. And then growing up, I was like, man, this shoes is so sick. Because clearly this is not like, if you see this, you cannot tell it's a Jordan. But like I said, the little details make all the shoes the difference. And this is like the shoe, the Jordan that I remember from my childhood. So in those same years, the shoes that I rocked a lot was the Patrick Ewing Mid-Key. So this is like the shoes that I like it probably the most in those years. They didn't retro it because Ewing's now is making some retros, but the Mid-Key I think is like the best silhouette of all the Ewing. The red suede was like for me a statement because back in the days, like there's a lot of people who was like wearing just like the black one, but me I was like wanting to flash a little bit more, so the red one was like the best for me. So that's it, that's like an Undergrail, and that's the OG one. In my size I cannot wear it now because they're gonna probably crumble, but on eBay I got a good deal. Like all this period I had like Nikes and all those Air Max, but I think the ACG was the big thing for me. And I remember probably at the end of my school years, there was the Air, I don't know how they say it, Minot, and this is like the first Gore-Tex shoes that I had. Back in the days I didn't know what was Gore-Tex, but they make a lot of publicity, so it was like, okay, that's cool. And this shoes I think was like the most expensive shoes that my mom bought for me. And the thing with my mom is like, if she liked the shoe, she's gonna buy it. So that was like the nicest shoes on the rack. And I was like, I don't know, Mom, if you're gonna buy me, but I think it's like the best shoes that I could have. Yeah, she bought me. So thank you, Mom, for those ones. That's the OG one that I got on eBay. They retro it, but with a big air bubble Air Max. Didn't like it, so that was a special shoes for me. So that's it. So in that book there was like this particular model. It's called the Nike Challenge Court, like the burgundy one with the gum sole that catches my eyes right away. So I was digging on the internet, and I think I got, if you wanna see after, I think I got like 8 pairs of those, but I have one with the OG box that I got brand new. So I think in that time that was the shoe that I wanted the most. I'm a big sucker for the gum sole, the white and the burgundy. I think it's like a perfect vintage shoes. So I was very happy to have them in perfect condition with the box with a little bit of tape. At the same time, I was like digging old school stuff and vintage Nikes and all that. There was a new trend coming on in the street. It was the Nike SB. So this is not a Dunk, this is my first SB. It's a Delta Force SB. I think is named Storm, something like this. I bought those in the Good Foot store. It was a local shop on the Saint Laurent in Montreal. Now it's closed. So I wasn't aware of that big boom that Nike just came out with the SB. And when I look after the market on the eBay and the reselling price, I was like, oh, this is something new. Like people gonna make lineups for the shoes and they're gonna sell them on eBay like twice the price. And it was like a new generation of sneakerhead that I didn't see coming at that time. But in those years, there was 2 models of SB that was in my mind all the time. It was the Hulk or the Campers and the Bison. I don't know if I pronounce it right. So these two these two tongues, the high and the low, was made with a real nice quality suede. Right now SB is making like cheap SB, so cheaper material. Sometimes you have something nice, but in general the SB in my mind is a little bit dead. So a trend that passed away, and now we're gonna talk about the new trend. So in 2003, Nike was making big money with the SB. So they just retro a dunk basketball shoes and put a fat tongue on it, put crazy colorways and great materials. But it was basketball shoes for the skateboarders. But in the same year, that 2003, it was retroed the Air Max 1 2, and those runners was something else. In Europe, there was all crazy about it. In Montreal, like I told you before, in Montreal, everybody is like was wearing everything. So the people was buying Air Maxes, but right now it's crazy because now everybody wants some like true original runners. So this is the new generation. It's like the runners collaboration, the runners retro, and we're gonna talk a little bit about it. Before I talk about the new retro, I want to show you something that's never been retro, but I think there's gonna be a retro in this summer. It's the Nike Air Icarus from '91. This was like, I think in my opinion, the coolest shoes of all my '90s runners. Back then on my computer I have like pictures of like many sneakers all piled up. It was not my picture, but it was like this back heel that was popping in that picture, and I was like, man, what is that shoes? And make a little bit of research and found those on eBay. Got 2 pairs. They're used, but I still wear them, and because the sole is still hard, you can like rock them. Of course, need a little bit of glue, but they will always stop. So if we take a quick look at my collection, I think the Air Structures, those are retro because the OG one are gonna be crumble. I think this model back in the days, this was like another, just like the Icarus, a big pop-up shoe that I was like, wow, those are crazy. Like the infrared with the laser blue mixing up with the gray and the black. It was a great shoes. I have a ton of Icarus too, but if I can go with another OG, those OG I think in my collection are something, another James. It's the Gelite 3, but the original colorway. So people right now are looking for the newest collaboration with all the store and Ronnie Fieg. I don't know how to pronounce it. So, but before then, was the shoes. It was that colorway and maybe like a purple orange or a pink or blue. That one, I'm very proud to own it. So I was talking about Ronnie Fieg. This is the Volcanoes, another Gelite edition from this guy who was like a designer for some store in New York. So I think this is like the best colorways, shape all around of all the ASICs that he like done past in those years. The problem now is that this is a shoe that is not affordable. If you go Google it on eBay, just look at the price. That's like insane. This is like the new generation. Like I told you before, people are like buying the shoes and then resell it and resell it and resell it. So I'm glad to have those now. If I want to make a few bucks, I'm gonna sell them, but I think I'm gonna keep them. So the Volcanos is one of my holy grails of this area of time. And right now, a big brand that I love a lot, and I used to hate it back in the days because back in the days I didn't know about the history behind it. I think it was like shoes made for ortho people. So this is like the most beautiful shoes in my collection. I think it's a collaboration with Sneaker and Stuff. It's a shoe shop in Sweden. So this is a model, the 5777. I think is like the most beautiful colorway, the most beautiful material. It's a perfect shape, perfect fit. I'm very glad to have those. Another, the same thing with the Volcanos. If you go on eBay, I don't think you'd want to see it on eBay because it's too rare, but the price is crazy. I got those like 5 years ago, so the Canadian dollar was making way better then, and the price was still very good. So New Balance is making great job. I think Reebok is doing great job. I always like the runners from Reebok because they are classic. So now they're making like premium edition with other people. The Adidas, of course. Right now I'm owning an Adidas made in Germany. That's pretty cool too. I have another one, but it's West Germany. The wall was there. And like I told you before, I think the runners is like right now the biggest thing in the industry. I don't know in 10 years it's gonna be the same, but we'll see. Another New Balance that I want to show you, it's this one. So it's another made in England. It's the 1500 collaboration with the Berlin sneaker store called Soulbox. So I want to show you that shoes because that shoes was the first New Balance that I bought in Montreal. Like, no, it was not the first because I had like cheaper New Balance, but made in England, like around $200. It was for me the first time I was like putting my foot in these shoes, in that kind of shoes. And I want to thank OTH Off the Hook to have those because back in the days there was like no shop that had those kind of shoes. Like I told you before, Goodfoot was closing, so Off the Hook have like special limited edition. I think that shoes is like the classical shoes for me, like the gum, like brownish sole and the clean colorways. So this is like another shoes that I like a lot. So we're gonna close this by talking about the latest big thing in the industry of sneakers. I think personally every sneakerhead wanted to make shoes, the real shoes, not just like painting them. But now with the help of internet and the site, every like big label are making things happening by creating like their ID model. So you can choose the colorway, you can choose different models, different pattern, different materials. Of course the price is a little bit higher, but you have your own shoes. So this is like my latest ID. I was influenced by a transformer called Onslaught. I think like it's a classic underground colorway for me. So this is my latest. I made a couple of New Balance back then. So I make those one. I make those one. I got those one. Remember the Air Maxes I will show you before, the Viotech, like the same kind of colorways. So New Balance, always great materials. Made a couple of Reebok too, like those one, those one. Made a little Reebok that fit with everything. I like crazy colorways, but sometimes I like basic stuff too. Back then, Nike was not shipping to Canada, but I got my hand on this one. It was like the first ID I got, and this ID was made in 2006. It was, I think, the first edition of Nike doing an ID. So crazy colorway with this one. So right now I think I put my money a little bit more on those kind of things because I always wanted to create a shoes. Of course, you have like limited stuff. You cannot go crazy with all the colorways. And if one day a big label like Nike wanted me to collaborate, like I told you before, I'm not the kind of person gonna take the same model. You know, like now, like I told you before, the Gel Light is like everywhere. So it's cool, but I want to keep it most underground. So if they like asking me, do you want to make a collaboration? I will probably say yeah, but with like an underground shoes, like I told you before, or Michaelis, or like something crazy like the Airflow, or kind of big Asus runners. I don't know. There's so many models out there. I don't understand why they are always picking the same thing, because it's the process and the factory style. I don't know. So that's it. So that's it. Thanks for watching me. Thanks for watching my collection, my little story. Big up to Jason, Soul Session. Big up to all the community of Sneakerhead in Montreal. I know you're not big, but like I told before, I know it's growing up. So look at Facebook, so look at the groups. My name is Nick Pocket. Thanks for watching.